Coach Tankersley, first of all, congratulations, 3-0. When's the last time Gilmer started the season 3-0? Was that, did they start 3-0 last year?
Last year, we were 3-0 last year. I think this is, somebody had said it was the first time in 70 years that we had started back-to-back seasons 3-0. So I guess that would be in the history of the program. So, you know, that's a good thing, but, you know, we still got a ways to go. I mean, you know, it's good to start off. It's good to start off that way, obviously, but you know, we know the important games are coming up towards the end of the season. You want to start good, but you want to finish even better. So, you know, that's got to be one of our focuses as we move forward, is to keep improving every week. Because, you know, I've told the kids I don't feel like they've played their best game yet. Don't feel like they've played as good as they can play yet, and that's, you know, that's a positive thing in one sense, knowing that they haven't, but you know, it's a little bit of a negative too, knowing that, you know, they can do more, and trying to get them to do that. And you know, I think they're playing hard. They always do. We just gotta, and a lot of it is coming with the experience of them, and I think hopefully with the experience every week they're learning and getting better and more confident in themselves out there in a varsity game. You know, we still got, I can't remember the exact number, probably 12 to 14 seniors, but you know, really only 2 or 3 of them had much playing time on the varsity, you know, on the varsity level. So you know, we still got a lot of inexperienced guys out there, but hopefully as we continue to work in the next couple of games, you know, really we've got 3 weeks to prepare for our sub-region schedule, and that's the games that we really have to focus on.
Well, Coach, you're traveling to Dalton this week. Obviously, you're looking for that 4-0 start. They're looking for their first win of the year. So when you got 2 coaches looking for that, and not to bring back bad memories, but when I think of Dalton, I think of first and goal on the half-yard line.
Yeah.
How about you, Coach?
Somebody had mentioned to me the other day, they think about the time we beat them, and I said, well, that one was about 3 or 4 years ago. I said the one that sticks in my mind is the one from last year. You know, and you know, that's definitely something that leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and hopefully it has the kids as well. You know, yesterday we had probably about as good a practice as we've had all year, and you know, hopefully that'll carry forward to Friday. And you know, I think it's always a game that I know I look forward to it. I think the kids look forward to it as well, and you know, you got to look forward to the challenge of playing, you know, somebody like Dalton that, you know, they're perennially, you know, I know I haven't won a game yet this year, but you know, they've always got a good football team, and you know, the 2 teams they lost to, Ringgold and Calhoun, aren't bad programs at all, and you know, they've had some injuries. They're probably their number one, or their number 1 running back was out for both of those games. So you know, they're going to be better offensively with him back. So you know, it's definitely going to be a challenge, and you can't look at their 0-2 record and think that it's going to be, you know, a definite win or anything of that matter. You know, it's going to be one of those games where, you know, we need to try to control the ball and control the clock, and you know, keep it close and have a chance to win at the end.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I was looking at Dalton, and although they're 0-2, they played some pretty solid teams to be 0-2, and with their injury, that being said, did they run 2 quarterbacks?
They ran 2. They have been running 2 quarterbacks. I think one may be a junior, one may be a sophomore. And you know, I mean, one of them's probably a little bit more of a runner, one of them's probably a little bit more of a passer, but they do very similar things with both of them. And they're both pretty good, you know, pretty good quarterbacks. I think they just don't have you know, kind of like us, they don't have a lot of experience under their belt. You know, they had a kid that graduated last year that I think had started at least 3 to 4 years at quarterback. But you know, I'm sure with Rhodes back, who's their you know, number 1 running back from last year, that they'll be, you know, relying heavily on him and trying to get us to key on him, and then use the quarterback, you know, as kind of a counter off of that. They've done that with us in the past.
Well, they've only got 112 passing yards in 2 games, so they've not been able to open it up and pass. I watched you actually put basically 3 different game plans together in three games: the Fannin plan, and then the Sonoraville plan, and the Southeast Whitfield. You went from a strong passing game on Sonoraville to you kept it on the ground. Let me just bring up a couple of these things. You had 326 yards on the ground last week, 40 in the air, so you totally changed that up. Bertinelli with 197 with 20 carries. What did you see last week and how's the line doing? Is the line getting better every week of pushing that whole
better.
open?
I mean, that's I think offensive line is always one of the spots where they usually get better as they go along and start working together better as a unit. I know we've got at least 3 new starters, and then one of the guys that started for us last year that's playing this year moved to a different position. He moved from center to guard. So, we really only had one guy that was playing the same position from last year, and I think they have gotten better, the past couple of weeks, and hopefully they'll continue to get better. Offensively, I know that Coach Kellogg, does a good job of just going with what the defense is going to give. Obviously, you go in with a game plan each week, but many times in our offense, you don't know how people are going to play it sometimes, because and recently, in recent Wing T used to be a lot more a lot more run and seen a lot more, but here recently, especially in our region, that has kind of changed to where you see a lot more spread offenses and things like that. So, a lot of defensive coordinators many times will have like a set plan or a set defense that they practice for the Wing T, and sometimes that can be very different from what they might be playing regularly. So you come in with a game plan, and then you just kind of look at what the defense is giving you and keep going from there. As far as the game goes, I mean, I think the first week we probably should have thrown it more, but I think we'd gotten up there and we're kind of being conservative with what we were doing, just because of inexperience and trying to get Chris a few more reps under his belt and get him feeling more comfortable. And you could tell he felt a lot more comfortable the next week, and with what Sonoraville was trying to do to us and the personnel they had, we felt like we could probably throw a little bit more. And he started completing his first couple of passes, so you kind of knew that he was a little bit more comfortable that week. And you just gotta kind of build off that. Last week he hit a couple of passes, but I think they were definitely. I think there was a couple of times where he didn't look as comfortable as he did the week previous. So that's still a work in progress for us as far as that's concerned. I mean, he throws he throws some great balls.
Throws a nice pass in Sonoraville. He has some long ball.
Yeah.
But what I seen the other night, and tell me if I'm wrong here, what I seen the other night was you had several more pass plays in the offense, and he pulled the ball down and ran with it, made decisions to run.
Yeah.
More.
And that's that's one thing we tell him. He's got even more so, and we've been telling him that all over the summer. Is that's one weapon that he has that maybe Marlon didn't have last year. Marlon didn't really like to run that much, but Chris is a kid that's, he's 6'3", 6'4", got long strides, big kid. I mean, he can really run pretty well too, and if it's not open, he's able to get some yards off of the run as well. So, that's something we have stressed with him is, if maybe you're struggling, or maybe you don't know if you're a little bit indecisive about whether to throw it or not, just go ahead and tuck it in and run with it. And I think he did a pretty good job with that last week. He didn't see you know, what he thought was supposed to be open, and so he tucked and ran with it. And I think he had, you know,
He's not making
a few
mistakes.
yards. No, he's not making mistakes, and that, you know, that's what we want. I think, you know, we did have the one fumble last week on a sack where he got, you know, blindsided basically.
Right.
So I mean, that definitely wasn't on him.
But interceptions is not a problem with him.
But
right
interceptions
now.
hadn't been a problem. Fumbles hadn't been a problem. So, you know, biggest thing we want with him is manage the game correctly, and you know, let's live to play another down and not have turnovers, and we haven't done that, and that's, you know, that's always a big deal for us.
Well, Coach, obviously, if you can open that hole up and get an average of 6.6 a carry out of Bertinelli, which you got this past week and which you got a lot of last year,
Yeah.
That means that front line's starting to come together to open that up. Tell me a little bit about that 90-yard drive to finish the game the other night. That had to feel good to control the game like
that was nice, and you know, really we felt like we could do that all night, and really had been until we got, you know, within about the 20 to 15 yard 20 to 15 yard range to score, and then we'd do something dumb to you know, miss a block or have a penalty or something like that to kind of mess the drive up. You know, I know we started out the game with a pretty long drive and got down there probably the 10 to 15, and it ended up you know, not scoring. You know, that's something we've talked about all week, that we've got to capitalize in, you know, situations like that. And you know, that's the type of drives we want, 10, 15 play drives where we go down the field and eat the clock and score off of them. And it was good to see the kids really step up in that kind of situation. You know, I thought Bertolini, Austin Cole, and some of the others really showed a lot of leadership in that, you know, in that sense. Southeast had some momentum at that point in time, and they didn't let it get to them, and they just kept going. And gosh, I guess it was probably a 7 or 8 minute drive, you know, through the whole thing, and it had some critical plays that we had to make, and third down situations, things like that, and they made the plays. So that was definitely good to see.
Let me bring up two kids that, you know, I'm not saying we don't ever talk about, but I've watched them from week one, and they've stepped up and they've gotten really into the game on defense. Let's talk a little bit about number 39, Austin Davis. 7 solo tackles and 4 assists. He's really stepped up in that defense, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. You know, he started out at defensive end for us. We had an injury, you know, a couple of weeks ago to one of our starting linebackers, and you know, we moved him back there, and he's going to do a good job. You know, he goes 1,000 miles an hour every play, and he's smart. And you know, either position we play him at, you know, we feel confident he's going to help make plays for us. And you know, he's kind of one of those kids that he's been waiting on his, you know, he's been waiting on his time, and was behind, you know, some seniors last year, and did get some playing time, but obviously, you know, he was able to put a little bit more weight on, muscle on this, you know, this off season, and have himself ready to have a good year.
He has stepped up in the defense. Another guy, Corey Waters, 7 solo tackles this week.
Yeah.
Really stepping up. You got
yeah, Corey. You know, Corey started stepping up for us last year, about halfway through the year. I think probably he began starting during the Cass game last year, and gained a lot of experience there. So he started the last 6 games last year, and I think he just kind of carried that over to this year, and you know, he's playing smart, playing with his head, and using the experience he got last year to his advantage, and he's doing a good job for us in the secondary.
A couple more quick things. I know you're busy, Coach, but 1 sack this past week, and I've been watching. Are you getting pressure on the quarterback like you'd like to? Or
you know, not like we would like to. I mean, I think we need to get, you know, more pressure. You know, but a lot of their stuff wasn't inside the pocket either. They were trying to roll the quarterback out, and you know, he ended up trying to run it more than he did throw it. I think if we get to somebody that's a little bit more of a, you know, pocket passer, things like that, I think we'll probably get a little bit more pressure. You know, last week they were really trying to roll him out and run as much as anything. But yeah, you know, that's something that you know, we've talked about, and you know, something that you know, we need to do a better job of. And I think some of that too will be, you know, I think we could probably do a little bit more substitution on the defensive line with some other guys to get some of those guys in there a little bit of a break, a breather, a couple of plays. That way they'll, you know, be a little bit fresher. I think that's a lot of the issue is sometimes that they're not very fresh, and then, you know, after, especially when you're going against a spread offense and having to run so much as a big guy, it can kind of get to you after 4 or 5 plays.
Going up against Dalton this week, what's probably been the biggest challenges you've had as far as for game plan this week against this team? I mean, like I say, I guess the biggest thing is trying to figure out, you know, what they're going to do with the running back in there, and how they're going to use their quarterbacks with the running back in there, that sort of thing. You know, defensively, we kind of, you know, for them anyway, I think they're probably going to be very similar to what they've done to us in the past. So I guess probably the biggest thing is just trying to figure out how they're going to use him, and game plan towards that. All right. Coach, I appreciate you. If we get over to Dalton this week and it's 1st and goal on the half-yard line, we're coming home with the W.
Boy, I sure hope so.
You got it.
Better.